Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Cacawphony. I am your host this week, Wolf, and I am joined by.
Glucose.
Ellen.
Sorry.
Hello, and welcome to the both of you. And we are still, once again, ever so slightly in the past, but we're catching up very quickly. This week we are here to cover RWBY Volume 7, Episode. I've already forgotten. 5.
We're too far in the past. We have to move forward.
So, starting us right off, let's jump straight into it. The montage.
Jim? Who is Jim? I really like this new character, but is this all we've seen of him? I mean, jokes aside, the montage has been really good at showing that, hey, we're not little kids anymore. We're doing grown-up huntsman and huntress things. It kind of sets a tone that they're kind of like a rite of passage, I guess. If the last episode with the getting the licenses was kind of the official ceremony for it, this was more the actual act of getting into this new lifestyle.
There is still the part, though, that they still get beat up by all of the Aesops, or are shown to be inferior. Except Ruby, who's sort of on level with Harriet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead.
Just speedy friends.
Yeah, it was a nice little thing to see. Like, I think, talking about it specifically, what did you think about the song that played over this for the montage?
I didn't like it, but that's just me.
Oh, that's fair.
It
It's
fit
a
the mood, though.
Yeah, it's a montage song. It flies by. It was catchy, but I didn't really catch much of the lyrics.
This is true. I think it'll be interesting to hear it outside of the show, away from this, and the full thing, right? Personally, I kind of like the more bubbly nature to it. I enjoyed that part of it, and I think I would enjoy listening to it outside of the show as well, but we'll see. Speaking of things specifically about the montage, it's kind of it is what it is. Not too many thoughts on it. It goes through quickly. Like, there's a lot of little nice moments in there. Nora doing Ren's hair, and you hear Clover talking throughout all of it. There's also the whole Bumblebee interaction thing with Marrow saying, they should team up with other people, and do they work well together or not? Ooh, a little bit of background noise there, Dylan.
That was me. Sorry.
That wasn't me.
Oh, sorry.
My mic cut out again. Continue.
But yeah, like the Bumblebee moment was. What did you guys think about the little Bumblebee moment?
Bumblebee. They're gonna continue teasing it. They're gonna continue not giving us any sign of their relationship going any further, but they'll say they're together.
Okay, yeah.
Do something. Stop baiting us. Otherwise, we'll end up in a situation that we'll have to get on next episode, where the payoff it's past the spy. You waited too long. You have to pick your spot and take it.
See, I don't normally agree with either side of this vociferous argument. I'm just like, the bees are cute.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I stick Sun in there for the OT3 because why wouldn't? ¿Por qué no las dos and all that? But I'm starting to get the people that are complaining's point, because my God, they are just milking this dramatically. They are just the writing team is just on these teats, and they will not stop fucking dragging it out. I'm like, yo, just do it already. Just do it so that we can move on to the next phase of this argument, because there's going to be a next phase of this argument.
This is true. Personally, right? I'm a terrible person, so I hope they continue to bait people.
Oh, I hate you.
I really
You are
do.
awful.
I know I am.
I am going to beat Demon Wolf to death in Minecraft.
But I really hope they do, just because I would love to see just people's reactions if we went an entire volume with no confirmation, just a lot of bait.
I'm pretty sure RT
give me that.
headquarters would get bombed. I'm not sure
Possibly.
that they're safe.
I mean, if we're looking at it like this, okay, so volume 1 through 3, we get a sort of little Bumblebee interaction in Volume 2, and then suddenly Blake is like, Yang, you're a maniac. And then she's like, Blake, please. And then she's like, okay. And then they obviously have the Adam moment, and then in Volume 4 they separated, so not much happens. Sun mentions Yang a few times, and Blake is like, They get back together. Yang has some chats twice. That's about it. And then Volume 6, stuff actually happened. And we got pretty far. But now they just sort of... They always... Like how Ren and Nora should have kissed at the end of Volume 4, they should have just had Yang and Blake kiss at the end of Volume 6. Just do it.
I disagree.
Me too.
Because here's the thing that I don't like about this build-up. I feel like they need to have a talk about what's been going on. Because, okay, it has been established multiple times that Adam was at one point Blake's romantic partner, her mentor, and her comrade in this whole White Fang thing.
Mhm.
They legit just shanked this man. Like, I don't care that he was evil. I'm not debating that. That point has been driven into the ground. Adam stands be gone. But you literally just killed someone you've known for a good portion of the formative years of your life. There's going to be trauma whether you wanted to kill him or not. Like, that's how that kind of thing works. And yet, this whole volume, they've just been... There's barely any time. I don't know how long this time skip was. I actually, I assumed it was like a couple of weeks over the montage because, there's obviously a somewhat time skip there. But people are saying like, oh, no, it's probably only a couple of days. But I feel like this is a conversation that, yeah, you could say, oh, it must have happened off screen. And that's just a slap in the face. It took them having a conversation at Brunswick Farms and then having their slugfest against Adam for them to work out the whole abandonment issues thing at last. That there should be some talk about this. And I don't think they're going to, and that pisses me off. But, just because I live maybe 2-3 hours from their headquarters doesn't mean I can bully RT into doing what I want.
Well, it's always the thing. They want to do so much, don't they, Rooster Teeth? They want to fit in all the plot lines, all the characters. And when you do that, you suddenly notice, hey, wait, Ruby and Blake have only had like one actual conversation just between the two of them in the entire series.
Yeah, but like, at least in this volume, the plot being focused on is good. Like, I like that this volume is a lot heavier on the plot. I feel like it needed to, because like, Volume 5 especially, like Volume 4 and 5 especially, people were complaining that it was literally just the plot moved at a snail's pace until they got to Haven. Like, and even then, they spent a good 3 or 4 episodes on Haven Academy, which I don't disagree that was a good thing. I actually think they should have stuck on Haven for more than a couple episodes, but
I agree.
Thank you, Wolf. This is why I like you. But like they need to have this conversation. It would take maybe one part of an episode. They could have this conversation, 2 or 3 episodes from now, and it would be perfectly timed. Just give them a little bit of time to themselves to talk about this. Then you can have them get into the lovey-dovey shit afterwards. Because normally, when you're emotionally raw like that, that's when stuff like this happens. Everybody's happy. I'm happy. The bee shippers are happy. The people that fucking hate the bees vociferously will never be happy, so who the fuck cares?
This is true.
Like, it's so easy to fix, and I don't think they're going to.
Well,
They won't be happy until either one is dead and remarried.
God.
Yeah, bringing it up, Jello had a thought that he shared with us before we, recorded this episode, and he unfortunately couldn't be here with us, so I'll bring it up for him. His thought was, what do we think if the whole Blake and Yang being so close this volume is possibly them trying to act like things are okay and great, but they really aren't. Like, they still need to have that talk, and they plan on having that talk, but they've not done it yet because they just don't want to.
I don't think so. I think
it has to seem genuine enough. It's just stupid crap. It's just stupid crap for shipping moments,
Which is fair.
it genuinely does feel like it's just, oh, look at these two disaster lesbians. Not these people need to have a talk. And I'm all for disaster lesbians. I moonlight as a disaster lesbian myself, but you know, c- just come on, come on. Can we talk about something else now? I'm about to. No, let's talk about you forgot an important point of the montage. My man's look at how far he's come from volume 2. My boy's got game.
All about that hair. We're
The-
of course talking about the thirsty moms.
Oh man,
A scene everyone
I
loves.
can't wait for nothing bad to happen to these thirsty moms and for them to never show up again in the series.
Mm-hmm. It was just a
Absolutely.
one-time joke. It was cute.
Yeah,
a cute one-time joke.
A cute one-time joke that we will never see the repercussions of or have referenced again. Can I get an amen in the chat, brothers?
I'll admit, I like some of the designs from these characters. Being very one-off characters, I like their designs. They're nice.
Beanie Mom is best mom. Don't at me.
Agreed.
Demon, a doggo of culture, as always.
Redcoat Mom was also really nice. Casserole Mom.
Casserole Mom just looked like she's John's long-lost cousin.
This is true.
Dueling banjos intensifies.
So, last bit of the montage. Oscar versus Ironwood.
Ironwood really out here trying to catch a case. It's a rite of passage. Okay. Jean has punched Oscar. Crow has no. He didn't punch him. I think he slammed him up against the wall, if I remember right.
John did, yeah.
Yeah, Jean did. Crow punched
He
him.
got physical.
Crow punched him. Ironwood's punched him. Now we just gotta wait for Ren to punch him, and then every dude has punched the fuck out of Oscar.
To be fair to Ironwood, we didn't see him punch him.
Okay, but it's obvious that he's going to punch him. Best intentions or not,
If
So is
Ironwood
Oscar
finds out
keeping
Ruby
up with
likes him,
Ironwood?
He might punch Ruby instead. Let's be fair.
And
Fair.
he did accidentally punch Ruby in Volume 5, and then she got like a headbutt or something. Didn't that happen?
Well, yeah, Oscar punched Ruby, but if Ironwood finds out that Ruby lied to him, he might punch her instead of Oscar. So Oscar might get a break this volume.
Oscar just be like, oh, not me this time. Oh, thank God.
Would punch with his metal hand or his human hand?
Oof.
The metal pimp hand. What?
Oof.
Does he also have rings on the metal hand? Does he?
I can only assume so. People have
Attack
been
modifier.
People have been putting disrespect on Iron Daddy's name this entire volume, and he's sick of it. He's just about McFucking had it.
He's gonna take that metal arm off, and he's just gonna start throwing down gauntlets against everyone.
I also seriously don't believe that Oscar, without the guidance of Ozpin, is able to keep up with Ironwood. Come on.
I feel like Ironwood might go easy on him, to be honest.
I think they skipped the entire point of Oscar was a farm kid who knew how to do nothing.
I mean,
and now he's able to handle Grim.
There was scenes where he was doing training and stuff, and I can only assume because he was able to act independently, but Ozpin still was able to process things while Ozpin was active in his head. I can only assume that Oscar is the same way, that whenever Ozpin took over and fought for him, that he was still a witness to it. So that muscle memory may still be there.
They did.
Yeah, but they've only been together 3 months still in canon.
For all you know, that this is a very unexplained thing. I don't feel like they have to explain this particular point that much because it's kind of a thing we can kind of infer on our own. You noticed how Oz has multiple incarnations that all have the cane? I feel like Ozpin, as he gets along with his host, they end up picking up some of that skill until eventually he completely subsumes them. I feel like it might be a slow personality leak, something like that.
They did say way back in Volume 4 or 5, one of the two, that as they trained more, Oscar would grow and pick up a lot of Osmond's old muscle memory with his weapon and just in general with fighting. So I agree. Like, I think it's something that they don't really have to explain too much and go too in depth on.
Like, it'll be one thing if he can suddenly 1v4
Oh, yeah.
RWBY, or he can go toe to toe with Cinder.
Mhm.
But like him, being able to hold his own against a couple of Grimm, or be able to go toe to toe with Ironwood for a little bit, that doesn't upset me at all. That feels somewhat realistic.
And again, like, you can always assume Ironwood's not really going all out against Oscar at the moment.
I mean,
Oscar,
he's a kid that has Ozpin in his head. Ironwood's not about to beat the shit out of his boss.
You think we'll see Ozpin this volume in any sort of capacity?
I think we'll see him at the end if we do see him.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen him since he helped Oscar, avoid a crash landing.
Yeah.
I agree. I think if we
Do you think we'll see more of Maria?
Probably.
Like, Maria's in the opener, but we haven't even had her mentioned since the first episode, along with Pietro.
I don't think we really need her that much right now, though. Like, people have been complaining, guess Maria's off having fucking date night with Pietro or something. But I'm like,
people have their moment, okay? They're old. They need it.
I'm like, does Maria really need to be there? Like, look at every episode thus far and ask yourself, where would Maria have fit into these episodes? What purpose would she have served?
You have to remember, right? Like, Maria is very much connected to the Silver Eyes, and that was her thing with RWBY, is teaching her how to use the Silver Eyes. And they very quickly established that I can tell you all about it, but the best way you're going to learn is just by doing right there during fighting, right? Like, that's the only way to practice these Silver Eyes and get better with them, quote unquote. So at that point, they kind of took the mentor role away from Maria very quickly, right? It's very possible we'll see her come back, especially looking at the future, maybe. If things do get bad or worse, maybe Maria comes back in to help guide RWBY in a way, and she does take up that mentor role again, but we'll see.
I feel like the next time she shows up, she's getting offed, though. Like, that's my intuition.
I agree. I've been saying for a long time that I feel Maria's closer to the chopping block than most other characters are, but we'll see.
I would say that she just, sat on the bench next to Crow, and now she's waiting for her turn. But, Crow has...
in a world where both of Blake's parents survived, Maria can totally survive.
I don't know how Crow's not dead yet. This man, like, I remember Volume 4, everyone was like, oh, he dead. He dead. And then, Haven comes up. People are like, oh, he dead. He dead. And then, the fight with Cordovan comes up. Oh, he dead. He dead. Brunswick Farm comes up. He dead. He dead. And now this volume, people are like, oh, he's definitely dead this time, guys.
New voice actor. They're going to cut him. Come on. And then it's like, nope. No, he's actually got... This is the most of, like, Crow in any volume. Just him and Clover stuff. It's good.
They have given him... They've given him a character that isn't Drunk Boy. And I like it.
Yeah. It's nice to see the change in Crow. I agree.
Yeah.
So, moving on, our next big reveal this episode, Funky.
There'll be background stuff.
What the fuck? I love Neon now.
Cool designs, cool characters, but ultimately this is like when they'll go to Vacuum and probably meet up with Coffee. It's like, hey, cool, there's Coffee. All right, let's move on to the next scene and then pro to actual story stuff.
I mean, I think it's cute because, it's nice to have a throwback. It's nice to see what else, like, because we never got the KI of Funky. We only got FN. So...
KI doesn't look as interesting as FN.
Yeah, but, I don't mind that they're, like you said, they're bit characters and, Ara Farm Boy and all that.
Yeah.
I genuinely hated... I hated Funky in Volume 3, and yet for some reason I was so excited to see them this episode. Like, I don't know why, I just got giddy.
I think they introduced them in a really good way, too. Just a little training thing with Team Juniper. Like, that worked out really well. Like, there was...
Yeah.
And we got to see a few little cool things from Team Juniper. Jean's first fight, one off screen, of course.
Yeah.
That was great. I like that. I see what you're doing.
Jean out here, it finally broke his jobbing streak, and even then, he can't get it off screen. It's a fucking dark match.
Mm-hmm.
Very sad.
It was just.
Don't worry, they'll put that one on the DVD.
Yeah, it's the DVD featurette.
Gotta say, though,
special extra
Rooster
scene.
Teeth, this is for you specifically. You can't give me Neon with her hood up in the credits, and right in the credits beside that, probably won't see. You can't do that to me.
Fuck you, man.
You cannot do
God.
that. I gotta see her in the show with that hood up at some point, RT, or just your show's not good enough anymore.
The show sucks, Rooster Teeth. Literally go out of business. God. No, just
Gotta give me that hood up. I need to see that now in the show.
Cat
That
girls
was
need hoods
too
too.
adorable. That was just too adorable.
also, can we just accept that Neon has a stand now? Like, we just have to accept it.
Definitely some Jolene references.
The JoJo in her name is silent, but it's there. Joe Neon Joe Cat.
Works pretty well.
Eh,
Anything
It-
else? Oh, go ahead.
I do like the new designs, especially because Flint's is literally he just puts on a pimp coat.
It's freezing up in Atlas.
Bro, it's cold outside.
Yeah, the update to all the characters, to especially Flint and Neon, like they looked really good going from Poser to Maya. Just amazing switch for both of them. I feel that worked really well.
I almost didn't recognize Neon until I saw the fucking rainbows. Like, that's how different her design looks in Maya.
Yeah.
Oh, son, he's the only guy who went from Poser to Maya and was like, I lose my abs.
I have lost my pencil abs. This is unfortunate.
Like, everyone else gets this cool ass costume. Him,
Not
I
the,
get-
you
I
see,
get a
the
little
fall
tubby.
beacon. The fall beacon hit him really hard. He, he ended up getting a little too much Haagen-Dazs. It was really hard. It was a tough time. Steel sharpens steel, King.
Moving on. The truck ride. Ruby and Penny, Crow and Clover. So.
Okay.
Oh,
go ahead.
So here's my question. This is Schrodinger's semblance in the back of this truck here. Who was using their semblances, and how much of it were they using? Because, Crow, I'm imagining he can't use too much of his or else something's going to go wrong with the truck. So he's probably got a restriction. Clover has no such restrictions.
Who was cheating? Who was trying to cheat at the card game more? Jeez.
God. That's dirty. And then, of course, Crow loses, and he's just like, fuck you.
Yeah, it was a nice little moment between Crow and Clover, and hearing them talk, and hearing Crow say that he doesn't drink anymore, that he's given that up now. Was a nice little nod.
They finally confirmed my little thing. I've always been saying that I felt like after Brunswick Farms, he just kind of decided, maybe the drink is bad for me. And now just having... I have one of my headcanons confirmed now. You all ain't got shit on me.
the other headcanon is, that alcohol has been doing crap to his throat. He's actually sounding a lot better now.
Yeah. I mean, that's a thing. Alcohol is an irritant.
Yeah.
He
Helps
cleared
to
his
explain
throat.
voice
What the...
change.
He clears his throat. What the heck? I'm a twunk now.
Going into it, though, something for me that happened in this little scene was, I've said in the past, right, that you can't, the airships, right, they can't carry a ton of weight because that uses even more excess dust, right?
Yeah.
That was confirmed in this scene. Thank you, Rooster Teeth. I feel vindicated now. I've been saying that for so long and been told that, no, that can't be right because of X, Y, and Z. And I was right. Eat it.
Okay, I hear your point, but all I heard was Zed, so that means you're Euro and your opinion is automatically invalid.
Oof.
What's wrong with Europeans?
In this voice chat, we stand America. As the only American, I must puff my chest and shout about freedom and liberty.
Good old freedom letters and good old freedom units.
Freedom units. The inch is the greatest thing ever devised. Shut your
Ah.
mouth.
Freedom Hospital days. delicious.
Oof.
No, God.
So yeah,
Speaking
it was
of
an
freedom.
interesting truck ride.
Very
Speaking of freedom,
interesting.
Robin
And
Hill.
it got even more interesting
Mhm.
with Robin. We finally get mommy Christina V out here.
I love her and the other Huntress's designs. Like, really good designs, I feel here.
Yeah,
Well,
they
for a
were
fact,
all
I
pretty
love sheep
cool.
now.
Yeah,
Well, I know for a fact that Dylan loved the sheep girl.
of
Like,
course.
I agree. She was
You know,
adorable.
no stereotyping here.
well,
We don't stereotype against Welsh people.
we are all Welsh on this blessed day, or New Zealanders. It's a New Zealand thing too.
You know, I'm just waiting for the OTP of the farm boy, Oscar, and Fiona. That's all we need, you know?
That's all we need.
Yeah.
God.
Loved Robin's voice here. Christina V did an amazing job here. I feel like really fits in with the cast in my opinion, and overall a really good scene. I know a lot of people really love to dig at the idea that she's running for council and she's out here doing something illegal. What gives? I'll say right that on that point, that at considering how popular she is within Mantle and maybe even a little bit of Atlas and just how much support she has, arresting Robin Hill's not going to be a very good look, so she probably has some freedom of movement at the moment to do
I feel
some
like
stuff.
she has, as much as I hate getting political about this show, and god damn it, this current arc is really testing my patience with people.
Oof.
She has that Fifth Avenue heat where she could probably go beat the piss out of Jacques Schnee in broad daylight and still win the election.
This is true.
It is.
People
But
underestimate
it's also...
just how much, because it's not that they're running for the Atlas Council itself. That's the thing. Because like if it was just everybody votes in all of Atlas, you know, I feel like Jacques would have like a little more support. But they've made it clear that this is for a council seat representing Mantle.
Yeah.
Jacques is. I don't know if they confirmed he was from Mantle in the World of Remnant thing, or if it was just that he wasn't a Schnee.
It's just that he wasn't a Schnee himself, that he married into the line, as far as I
But
remember.
still, look at the situation Mantle is in. Tell me that the people that are slaving away for a guy that has been established over the series to not just be kind of a bad person, but an absolute shit businessman who treats his employees like trash.
And then technically, that means he's a very good businessman.
And then you look at someone who is literally out there in the streets fighting for Mantle, yo. It's like trying to election with Martin Luther King. Like, Robin could quite literally go kick a puppy, and her approval rate might go down 1%. Oh, that puppy was a tool of the bourgeoisie.
Completely fair and agreed. Otherwise, looking at the scene again, like great interaction. Speaking of, I wonder if Robin's semblance might have something to do with touch, maybe. Considering
that's what the running fan theory is.
Is it? I didn't know if that was a running fan
Yeah.
theory or a me thing. So I'm not special. Darn.
Nah, the running fan theory is that when she says "just trust me" and sticks her hand up to Clover, it's that her semblance allows her to like communicate thoughts through touch.
A good idea and potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna be all over Crow and then learn everything, and then. Whew.
But I digress. She is very cool. She's watching this episode again. She's fucking tall.
Yes.
I think she's taller than Crow and Clover, if I remember right, or she's at their height.
She's
Like,
I mean, it makes sense.
She's a big girl.
I think she's one
Damn.
of the tallest females in the show so far, is she not?
I think she
Glinda?
is the tallest female.
Hmm.
Like I
You
think
know,
she's...
Glinda Goodwitch, worst character on my list.
Oh, Lordy.
Poor Glinda.
Nah, she big. She imposing.
I like that though.
Step on me. I mean, what?
Moving on to other.
Speaking of stepping on me.
Yeah. Nice segue. Weiss versus Winter. And their little
Whoa.
chat.
What the fuck? Weiss isn't a jobber now.
was the last time Weiss won anything?
Oof.
Never.
Like, it's
I'll
like
fight you on the
the
Weiss fights,
volume
alright? There's
3,
been some good Weiss
the
fights, even though
volume
she's
3
lost.
opener. Yeah, but it's like since the volume 3 opener, she's done nothing.
No, she fights, and her fights are good. She just loses all the time.
Which is
She lost to
perfectly fine. I'll
Vinal.
fight you.
Vinal, who remembers the fucking Vinal?
She
is
got
okay
her
that
salt.
she lost. I'll fight you.
She got her salty run back, and that's what matters. She came back to Winter immediately, just flipped her hair and said, "Run me my fade, bitch." And she did pretty good this time. I am very happy to see more sisterly bonding.
Yeah, like I'm also really happy that we just barely get that Winter smiling at Weiss deal, and they're kind of getting closer, and you kind of see that military coldness rubbing off, and just kind of not rubbing, but wearing off, right? Like just ever so slightly see that that wall dying down a little bit, and you actually see like, hey, these are two sisters, and they do love one another. I like that.
Yeah.
Give me more of that. I want to see that wall completely fall at least once, though, RT. Please, give me that.
Would be nice, since we have so much sister interaction, could we please have Yang and Ruby do something?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yang, Ruby, and
I
Winter
don't
and
need...
Weiss doing a thing. Please give me that.
I don't need Yang attached to Blake's hip the entire time. I could do with Yang actually having a character instead of just Blake's, Blake's girlfriend.
We did
Blake's
get
handbag.
a small moment during the montage of Ruby and Yang together fighting Grimm within Mantle, but it was very much like one frame or two, and that was it.
And I think Yang was one of the people who confronted Ruby about her lying, or was that Weiss? I can't remember.
That was
Yang
the three of them.
Yang was the first to bring it up, though, which I found really good. I think,
Yeah,
considering Yang's
because
character.
she's the one who's been most openly pissed about Ozpin lying to them.
And it makes sense.
Yang doesn't like to be a hypocrite.
Which is good.
Yang very much enjoys the moral high ground.
Speaking of...
And the literal high ground, rip a Bumblebee.
Speaking of having problems with the truth, though, Weiss also talks to Winter about this. And a lot of people really got upset about the fact that she's calling... Winter out, that, telling Winter that, hey, can you trust Ironwood? Is he just, looking out to keep his secret safe? And people think that was mostly a dig at Ozpin. I'm going to put out the thought that I think that's also a dig at Ruby, too.
Huh?
Because, Weiss sits in this conversation, she tells Winter, right, that people are just looking out for themselves and their secrets, right? Everyone knows very quickly that's a dig at Ozpin, right, and how he did things, and how she thinks Ironwood might be doing something similar. But we do know that, just this volume, Ruby also lied to look after her secrets, right?
So it kind of makes sense to me, because one thing that I feel like people are ignoring this volume that makes me upset is that Ironwood, up to this point, has been a decent dude. Like, even in Volume 3, I'd say the worst he was as a character was in Volume 3, where he, he was a bit paranoid, he was a bit worried about shit going wrong with the Vital Festival, but...
I mean, even then, right, it was justifiable, right?
Yeah, he legitimately wanted to keep people safe.
It's funny, he's always been painted as this, guy who's on the edge of becoming evil. It's like, he's a very decent dude and
in Volume
never
4,
done anything wrong.
In Volume 4, he sticks up for Weiss at that ball, like when her summon goes a little bit wild and Jacques starts giving her shit, he intervenes.
In the most gangster way possible.
Yeah, he just comes out here with his 5 o'clock shadow, and he's like, listen, there's a...
he may be in a crowded area, too.
Let's be honest. Jacques may be her dad, but he is not daddy. Understand that this man is really out here. And then when Jacques comes back last episode, first person to stick up for her when things look like they might be getting a little bit dicey. Jacques, I have half a mind to smack this bitch up. Jacques. James like, oh really now? You have half a mind to do what, sir? What were you planning there, sir? And yet, I feel like people are assuming too readily that Weiss just has a hate boner for Ironwood for some reason.
I don't think it's a hate boner, but it is like, she has trust issues, right?
Yeah, I don't feel like she trusts anybody.
This is true. Like, I mean,
Like
again,
being-
look at her, father, then look at where, the issues with Ozpin. Even if, even if they're in the wrong.
Lionheart, hello?
Yeah, Lionheart as
Okay.
well.
Like,
Even
come
if
on,
they're-
all the leaders so far have been like secretive dicks or traitors. Of course
is
she's
true.
gonna be like, ooh.
Again, like, you have to remember their experiences, right? And even if you sit back and said, like, hey, they're, really digging at Ozpin in the wrong way, considering they're doing something similar now, again, you still have to remember where they've come from and what they've been through so far. Everything they've found out has just been, betrayal after betrayal, or just, hey, I lied to you. Even if I had a good reason to lie to you, I still lied. So you do
I feel
have
like
to
in this kind
give
of
them a little bit of credit in the not trusting department.
And I feel like in this situation, people are like, "Oh, Ruby's a hypocrite for lying to Ironwood." I don't think the hypocrisy is a bad thing.
No.
Even if she wasn't justified, I would still be okay with it.
Again, I think it's a good character moment for her, because we see the person who's been so enamored with Huntsman and seen them as nothing but heroes. They can do no wrong, right? And we've slowly seen that viewpoint of hers change to where the Huntsmen are flawed. There are, Huntsmen out there who aren't perfect, who aren't just straight heroes. They're not good people for some of them. And we're seeing that viewpoint of hers falter and fail somewhat, and to the point of she no longer has those, major heroes to look up to besides Crow, potentially, right?
Yeah, and
And it's
Dylan
interesting
brought
to
this up
see-
earlier. People don't talk about this. The last authority figure they trusted legitimately, in the broad open daylight, stabbed them in the back. Like, they trusted Leo. They went up to him with open arms, unguarded, just like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then he's just casually, "Oh, I betrayed you for Salem."
Ruby is a player character in D&D who has been fucked one too many times by the DM and now has to take extra precaution with every NPC she meets.
Yeah.
Fair. Any other thoughts on the Weiss Winter talk?
It's just nice. It was nice talk, nice interaction.
Agreed.
And it definitely did, what I like is that Winter, she didn't necessarily throw Ironwood under the bus. She didn't necessarily, like, go to his defense. But the first thing she thought to do afterwards was, like, to prove that they were on the level, and this segues into our next point.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how Ironwood mentioned the Winter Maiden?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That-
here she is.
Yeah.
What do we
Chill
think
old
about
lady.
the Winter Maiden? Yeah, a lot of people went into this saying Winter was already the the Winter Maiden, or Penny might be somehow connected to the Winter Maiden. Hi, I was one of those. It was interesting to see, like, we heard way back when that apparently the Winter Maiden is old and not a spring chicken anymore, and now we finally see her, like, she is old. She's on her deathbed essentially, right? This is interesting.
Ironwood legit with the pro strat of just camping the corpse.
Eesh.
But no, like,
oh, go ahead.
again, Ironwood has the opportunity to be the dick that everybody in the fandom says he is now, but no, he's just, I'm just going to let this old lady have a friend, and when she eventually dies, whenever that may be, we got Winter here.
But I love how you can still see it's not quite perfect, right? Because he does have Freya under complete lock and key, and she's only able to see and talk with Winter, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Technically,
a little
that
bit
doesn't need to be
dystopian.
true. She can speak to guys, since
This is
But
fair.
But,
Right.
like,
That kind
they,
of thing.
they made it clear in the episode that she's not allowed to see literally anybody else.
yeah, but I don't understand that because they've established men can't be maidens.
And I feel like that is that's Ironwood's paranoia. Plus, it's not
Mhm.
that they're trying to ensure that Winter is the only person that she thinks about when she dies. Because if they think about a dude or they don't think about anyone in particular, the maiden power just fucks off to some random person somewhere.
I hope Freya isn't a mother.
Yeah, Ironwood is trying to keep the focus on Winter as much as possible.
Problem is, those powers are not going to Winter. I'm calling now. They are nowhere near Winter. When you to go for this much precaution to give it to Winter, This is like Pyrrha all over again. She's not
It's-
getting them.
or
Ironwood really out here like it didn't work for Pyrrha, but it's gonna work this time.
either that or Winter's going to die with the maiden powers very
Yeah,
quickly,
she's either not getting them at all, or she's gonna die pretty soon after getting them.
which I'm gonna be so sad about.
I'll be pissed.
Yeah, that would be sad.
But
Don't hurt
which
Winter,
I-
then
which is-
especially don't hurt my girl Weiss. She don't need it.
This is why I
don't
hope
need
I
it's
see
it.
those
the
sister
former.
tears. Don't do that to me. I'm gonna cry.
I just hope someone gets it before that, and that we maybe have a storyline next season with Winter and Weiss trying to hunt down whoever steals it. Like, that'd be fun. And we need to
Okay.
stay in Atlas a bit longer,
We
because
do.
I can't.
Definitely.
Agreed.
It's a cool set piece. It's probably the most interesting place we've been to.
We haven't
Because,
even been to Atlas yet. We've been to the Atlas Academy, and
Yeah.
that's it. Everything else has been in
Yes.
Mantle.
There's a lot of Atlas we
But
still haven't
you know,
seen yet.
Vale wasn't that interesting. Vale was generic city .1. They didn't really explore Mistral much or Haven. It was like, here's a room.
Again, it's fair. Like, you know, we definitely have a lot more going on for us, exploring wise, within the city of Atlas and Mantle, right? Like, there's a lot more going here than what there was in, say, Argus or Mistral, which were interesting places, but not much of a reason to explore those places per se, which was fair, right? We had our other focuses at those time. This time we have a very different goal and a very different focus, so it's interesting to see that play out this time around. I agree. Like, we definitely need to spend more time here to see all of these things come to more fruition.
And I'm just hoping Winter doesn't die. It would be
Agreed.
nice. To,
Yeah, it'd be very.
like, not every. Well, what was the last like major character death we had on the good side? Because we had like Adam last volume.
The last
It's
big.
like-
You
Pyrrha.
could technically.
Like, is it still Pyrrha?
Yeah, it's still Pyrrha, more or less.
And
Yeah.
we are reaching the point where it feels like Volume 3 again.
Well,
It does. I'm getting to Volume 3. Penny's being indicted in some plan by an evil hacker.
spoilers. That's the future.
I mean, that's next episode.
The
Yeah, but-
future. Can't speak of the future. The future hasn't happened yet. We don't know
mean-
anything about
Oh
it.
no, guys! I figured it out. Look at the poser models for Pyrrha and Winter. They look
Oh,
almost
no.
exactly the same. Oh no!
Oof.
Oh
Oof.
Oh no. But I seriously hope that, I don't know, they can kill someone else off.
Maria.
I don't even know. I was going to say Ironwood, but that motherfucker survived a plane crash. So I don't know how you kill James Ironwood.
you don't.
Do you dip him in water? Do you make him
Dip him
drink?
in water.
Like,
Dylan, the sun shines, the grass grows, the rain falls, and James fucking Ironwood does not die. I will refuse.
It just
hard
becomes
cut
more
to
metal.
James Ironwood dying.
Just take this quote out of context.
Mm. He doesn't die. He just becomes more metal.
He becomes the Tin Man.
It's like Penny. Like, will I feel any emotion if Penny dies? Unless they explicitly destroy all of her, then no. And then it's like, does Pietro have backups? Maybe.
Pietro
Like,
pulls
that's the thing with a
big
robot. I can't be emotionally invested in a robot unless it's completely destroyed and all the database is deleted.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, like, you know,
But
what our big moment of, you know, the good guys losing is and how much they lose, right? And specifically who they might lose. It's going to be interesting to see. Because we do know, like, it's very obvious, I feel like something big is coming, right? And it's just going to be a matter of, like, how big is that? Like, how far do they go? It's going to be interesting to see what
hope
they try and pull.
they don't kill off Robin because, you know, they've done high-level voice actors pretty bad in this show, you know. They kept on getting killed. You know, poor Laura Bailey.
Well, if we're done with Speak of Freya, moving on, Jacques has an announcement.
James Ironwood is a bitch ass motherfucker. And so on and so on.
Pretty much.
It's
That's what
all
it
the
boils down
furnace's
to.
fault. We need to open up the border. Wait, what? When has
We
ever
need
someone
the-
like Doug wanted to open the border? What?
Just please stop. No.
Mm.
That being said, Dustman bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, what else? What else is there to say? Dustman bad. I love how transparent this is for us, the viewers. It's just like, oh, I totally do not have money hand over fist right now because I am basically the only major supplier of dust. Because like, he's talking about how he doesn't have enough money to keep his doors open. I call bullshit. Think about it. He is established to be the biggest dust provider in canon. Like Flint
yeah.
complained about in Volume 3 that the SDC was driving little mom and pop shops out of business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's
But I
no way that he doesn't have some kind of exclusive contract with the Atlesian military that gets him big bucks. He's just mad that he's losing out of kingdom money because of the embargo.
It's just, it literally is. Every businessman is like, we need more money, and it's like, why? Why are you fine? Ah, the poor people. You know, they're just greed. It's greed. And
I've got my knife and fork out. The table's set. Let's eat the rich. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. I'm all for it.
It's just, and well, next episode is going to happen, but I don't know anything. I
No, you
can't
don't.
see into the
You
future.
have no clue.
But Jock running on presumably short notice for a council seat, and it's just like, why? What?
I mean, I get it, right?
And
Getting
you
a
know
council
what?
seat gives him the strength, gives him some of the power he needs to just fight Ironwood on every level and just be an annoying thorn in his side at the very least on everything.
He already has that capability.
This is true.
He could legit just say, "Okay, you want your dust? You got to get it from somewhere else." So that would force Ironwood to either go slug it out with him like hard style, do forced seizure, which is going to look bad even if people hate Jacques.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to make Ironwood even look like even more of a dictator. But no, I love how last episode he said, you've given me the noose to hang you with, when in any other setting, he would be giving Ironwood that noose right back right now and saying, all right, buddy, here's my neck.
I think, right, there is a bit of a status quo in the fact that the Grimm do exist, right? Jacques just can't stop any and all dust production to the Atlesian military because that puts the entire city at risk, including himself, right? So he is in a bit of a catch there where...
I think they'd just be like, the military would take his mines.
I would
the
say
military would go...
You think so?
It's a big all or nothing bargain, but I feel
True.
like he could have done it, like, basically, because for that exact reason, either the Atlesian military is immediately going to cave to his demands, or they're going to immediately go and beat the shit out of him. So it's a gamble either way. So maybe this was the safe option. Maybe. I don't know.
They install Whitley as the new head of the She Dust Company.
Oh, God.
I mean, to be fair, right, like, this is... I think the big agreement is this wasn't entirely Jacques' plan, right?
Yeah.
Like, this was...
Well, we all know
to
the
do with
better
making
mustache
dust.
boy.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur.
But yeah,
Arthur, Mr. I am not Russia. What?
Okay, stop. Unironically, I will roundhouse kick the next person who makes this comparison to 2016. No, I am tired of it. I am not even joking anymore. If I hear one more thing about the 2016 election, I'm going to roundhouse kick people. That means you, comment section. I will IP trace your ass.
I get why people make the references, right? But there is like a lot going on here that's not the same. That it is very.
There's a lot going on, but they are parts that are obviously references.
Sure.
No, they're gonna make the comparison anyway because it's the current year. And
absolutely.
Oh my God! I come to this fandom. I come to this show to get away from my shitty real life. Please stop reminding me about it. I'm tired of it.
This is
blame Rooster Teeth for making an election arc.
That's it. I'm driving up to Austin now. You forced my hand, Carrie. You forced my hand.
But yeah, overall, a good episode. a lot
Yeah,
going
it
on
was
here
good.
that worked, and I think sets us up pretty good for the future with Robin and everything that's going to happen there.
Not enough thirsty moms. 7.8 out of 10. We need more thirsty moms.
Also,
Maybe you'll get them in the
can we
future. Just
can we get a fat rip to my predictive streak, because this episode finally broke the cycle of talk action, talk action. Now, this one had talking and action, so the cycle has been broken. I
is
am
true.
wrong.
Wasn't engaging action, to be fair. It was just flavor action.
It was there,
It was background action, you know.
but it was there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mid carders match
Oh my
on a B level show that's on at 1 o'clock in the UK.
Oh my goodness.
Gotta get those wrestling references in. Any last minute
Brother.
thoughts on this episode?
No, I think I'm done.
No, it was perfectly fine episode. Let's hope the next episode is not soul destroying.
Agreed. Hopefully it'll be
Agreed.
really nice and
It's
pleasant.
like I know something that other people don't.
Nothing bad could ever happen.
Not at
Never
all.
happened.
Ever.
So, with all of that said, this has been the Cacophony. I have been your host, Wolf, and I've been joined by.
Glucose.
Hold on.
And with all of that said, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Cacophony. You can find us at the Crow's Nest. There'll be a link to the Discord below. Come check it out. Come talk with us. Come hang. And we hope you continue to enjoy RWBY. Until next time, take care.